I'm Lily, 29, a physical therapist whose life fell apart in the blink of an eye. There I was, lying in a hospital bed, stitches on my temple, my shoulder throbbing with pain, and a text from my brother, Ryan, shattering my heart more than the concrete steps had broken my body. "Stay away from us," it read. I couldn't fathom how we'd reached this point, how a woman named Ava had come between us and destroyed our once unbreakable bond. Ryan and I grew up in a small coastal town. Our parents, hard, working, and loving, owned a local bakery. Dad was the jovial one, always full of jokes and stories, while Mom was the calm anchor, steady and wise. We were a tight-knit family, and Ryan, 3 years my senior, was my rock. As kids, we'd spend hours at the beach, building sandcastles and chasing seagulls. When I was bullied at school for wearing glasses, Ryan would stand up for me, his small frame filled with so much courage. Those were the days when our relationship was simple and pure. After high school, we both went to college. I pursued kinesiology at a nearby university, dreaming of becoming a physical therapist to help people like my grandmother who had mobility issues. Ryan, on the other hand, went to a business school in the city, studying finance. Even with the distance, we talked every week, sharing our college adventures and dreams. Once we graduated, we both returned to our hometown. I got a job at the local rehabilitation center, and Ryan landed a job as a financial analyst at a small firm. We started a tradition of having Sunday dinners at our parents' bakery. Those dinners were our haven, filled with laughter, good food, and the warmth of family. Then, last summer, Ryan met Ava at a business event. He was smitten from the start. He'd call me, his voice full of excitement, talking about how amazing she was. At first, I was happy for him. But as the weeks passed, I noticed changes. Our Sunday dinners became less frequent. Ryan started canceling on short notice, always citing Ava's plans. When Ryan told me he was going to propose to Ava after only 4 months of dating, I was shocked. I tried to be supportive, but a nagging feeling of unease settled in my stomach. The engagement party was at a fancy restaurant in the city. When I first met Ava, I was struck by her beauty and charm. But as the night went on, I noticed some strange things. During dinner, when Ryan started telling a funny story about our childhood fishing trip, Ava interrupted him, saying, "Darling, you're getting too animated. It's not very proper." Ryan immediately stopped, his smile fading. I also noticed that she answered most of the questions about their wedding plans, leaving Ryan to just nod along. After that, our relationship with Ryan became even more strained. Our conversations were brief, and he always seemed distracted, constantly checking his phone for Ava's messages. I tried to talk to him about it, but he'd get defensive, saying that relationships require compromise and that Ava had high standards. One day, I was at the gym with my friend, Emily. She told me that Ava had been spreading rumors about me, saying that I was jealous of their relationship and that I was trying to come between them. I was devastated. I had only ever wanted Ryan to be happy. I decided it was time to have a heart with Ryan. I invited him to our favorite coffee shop. When he arrived, he was clearly on edge, constantly looking at his phone. I tried to explain my concerns gently, but he lashed out at me. He accused me of being jealous and trying to sabotage his relationship. He left in a huff, leaving me sitting there, tears streaming down my face. I was at a loss. I reached out to my therapist, Dr. Smith, who helped me process my emotions. She told me that sometimes people in controlling relationships need to figure things out on their own. So I gave Ryan space, even though it was killing me inside. One day, I was at a local diner when a woman named Laura approached me. She introduced herself as Ava's ex-roommate. She told me a horrifying story about Ava. According to Laura, Ava had a pattern of targeting successful men, isolating them from their friends and family, and using lies and manipulation to get what she wanted. She also had a history of fraud and had faked a serious illness to gain sympathy from her previous boyfriend. I was both horrified and validated. I started to do my own research on Ava. I found out that the job she claimed to have at a big marketing firm was a lie, and there were some small claims court cases against her related to credit card fraud. I compiled all the evidence in a folder, determined to show Ryan the truth. But before I could, Ava showed up at my apartment. She was all smiles at first, but then her true colors emerged. She told me to stop digging into her past and to stay away from Ryan. She threatened me, saying that if I didn't, she'd make sure Ryan would never speak to me again. I refused to back down. I texted Ryan, asking him to meet me at the park where we used to play as kids. When I arrived, Ava was there instead of Ryan. She told me that Ryan wasn't coming and that she knew about my smear campaign. A heated argument ensued. She grabbed for the folder in my hand, and in the struggle, she pushed me down the concrete steps. I remember the pain, the world spinning, and then everything going black. When I woke up in the hospital, I tried to reach Ryan, but he wouldn't answer. And then came that devastating text. I felt like my world had ended, but then a glimmer of hope appeared. A security camera from a nearby store captured the incident. It clearly showed Ava pushing me. The police showed the footage to Ryan, and slowly, the truth started to dawn on him. He came to my apartment, his eyes red and filled with remorse. He told me that he'd confronted Ava, and she'd tried to deny everything at first. But when he pressed her, she became enraged. He also discovered that she was wanted in another state for fraud, and that her real name was not even Ava. The police arrested her, and Ryan and I started the long process of healing. It wasn't easy. The pain and betrayal were still fresh. But I knew that our bond, which had been tested so severely, was stronger than ever. Now, as we sit at our parents' bakery, having our Sunday dinner again, I look at Ryan and see the brother I used to know. We've both learned so much from this experience. We've learned to trust our instincts, to value honesty, and to never take our relationship for granted. The scars may still be there, but they're a reminder of how far we've come and the strength of our sibling bond.